WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Monday at 4 o'clock, so it must be the Community Bell Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We are just happy to have it. I got a co-host today. Isn't it wonderful? I get to be with Boss Lady, Miss Sandy Rose. I'm so glad you can join us and be a co-host and help out today. Thank you so much, everybody. But it's Monday. It's the Community Bell Show. It's Monday, the first Monday in October. Oh my goodness, can you believe that October is here already? 3 months from now, we'll be talking about Christmas. I know, I'm sorry I said that. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's true. It's true. The worst part, I was at some store this weekend, and they had Christmas stuff out. Now, that's a little bit early for me to have Christmas stuff out, but they sure did. I was pretty much outdone, as a matter of fact. I'll tell you what I was doing. This is what's going to be interesting. Schools, and I've got three grandchildren. I've been talking about these grandkids for the last 3 years. Well, the oldest one is old enough to go to the homecoming dance. So, I'm having some trouble with that. He's going to the homecoming dance. So we're out finding him something to wear to the homecoming dance. And he's tall and skinny. So finding a pair of pants that he can wear. So we did find some
Aw.
pants, but we got to have them altered. So
Yeah.
he's still tall and skinny. But I'm telling you, I said, oh, why am I having trouble with this child? And he's gonna be mad at me in his business in the street. He asked the girl to go. Oh, for heaven's sakes. But look how they do stuff now. He sent her a text and asked her to go to the dance. I
Yeah.
said, you did what?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said,
I
yeah.
can believe that.
I said, oh my. And she responded via text. Oh, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was okay with her.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
okay with her.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
the expectations are so different. Oh my goodness.
Everything is
So,
different, Edna. And we were talking about this earlier today, and how this pandemic
yes,
has accelerated everything. Um,
yes.
we were working from home. My department, I work in IT, and
Mm-hmm.
we were working from home maybe one day a week, and they would
Mm-hmm.
kind of encourage that. But now everybody's working from home every day.
Every day. And interesting you mentioned that because I've got some numbers on that. I was looking at census information. Census is one of my favorite things. I've been talking about census for the last longest. And it talks about people working from home
Mm-hmm.
and the number of
Mm-hmm.
people, and it's driving choices in terms of jobs and locations and how they do it, um, in the connection between jobs and homes. And it talked about the COVID driving those choices. Just real interesting. They said it's urban and suburban jobs are being driven now by COVID and people working from home based on where their job would be. So if their job is a long way away, they're working from home. If in the past they had to drive 45 minutes to get to the job, they're not doing it. They're working from home. Real and one of the things they showed Traverse City is one of the places that they looked at. Traverse City, Michigan, people
Mm-hmm.
working from vacation homes,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
a big thing. And in Traverse City, uh, 24.8% of the folks are working from vacation homes in
Yep.
Traverse City now. I said, wow, isn't that something?
Yep.
Really,
It's
but yeah,
something.
it
And
is.
I
But it's,
talked. Yep, I talked to a young lady at work, and she was able. She moved up to Saugatuck,
mhm.
and she's working. She moved up. They bought a house there, and that's where they're working now. And her kids can go to a smaller school.
Yes, it's
Mm-hmm.
really the pandemic has changed lives so very, very much in terms of where people are buying homes. And the other piece it's changed is that people are trying to buy homes closer to where their job is now.
That's right. That's right. That's
Uh,
right.
and-
And really, you can work from anywhere.
yes, yes, and if in fact your job is not one of those that where you can work remotely from anywhere, then people are trying to buy houses next near where the job is if they have to go in. For instance, over on the east side of Detroit. They've got
Mm-hmm.
lots of new manufacturing places. Dakota has opened up over there. A lot of other places have opened manufacturing facilities to be close to the Chrysler plant.
That's right.
And what's going on now is that they're hiring a lot of these people, but people are now looking for houses in that area. So the
Yeah.
housing market on the east
Yeah.
side of Detroit, which you would never even think about, the housing market on the east side of Detroit is now getting to be one of the hottest markets in the area.
Yep. And you
People
got
are
to think
beginning to.
about it too. Now that the people are there, they're hoping that, like, these are jobs that people actually physically have to come. They can't
Hmm.
phone this in. So
Yes.
now you've got people will move closer.
Hmm.
So schools, and
Yes.
you got party stores and all of that, so that the workers
Yes.
will have somewhere to go
Hmm.
on lunch, restaurants and all that. So
Yes.
all of that feeds into that equation. So it's a big thing for Detroiters.
Oh,
It's a
it
big
is
thing.
absolutely a big thing. I've been working with and helping a group over on the east side called Akibalon Village, and they've been over there for like 40 years.
Hmm.
Well, they are now looking at purchasing some houses and rehabbing houses, and they did the first one back in September.
Hmm.
And they
Hmm.
purchased this home, and they're going to do several. I think, and they got it from the land bank, and they're going to rehab it, and they have several others in the pipeline so that those people that are going to be moving into those jobs at the Dakota factory and the FCA factory and all those other places can live in the community. And
Hmm.
businesses are beginning to open up over there because they're going to need restaurants and they're going to need drugstores and
Absolutely.
all of that. So it's great for some of those
Yeah,
areas.
I
It
I
is.
I think it's wonderful. And
Yes.
all of that, you find out all of that's connected when businesses, you get large businesses that leave, and that's when you find out, oh my God, the schools gotta close, the party
Hmm.
stores, everybody's connected to these businesses, so
Yes.
they're still yet connected, and this is a good thing that now they're bringing in fresh business. And now a lot of people, I was wondering what happened to a lot of folks during the pandemic. Some people decided to open up their own to do their dream. So you
Yes.
got a lot of people opening up small shops, or now they have pop-ups,
Yes.
where I'll
Hmm.
start my little business. I'm gonna start it, and we'll do just pop up shops all around. So
And it's a big
food
thing now.
trucks. It's
Lots of
yeah,
food trucks. And I noticed just one earlier today, and it's a place that's going to be selling specialty hot dogs. And it's
yeah.
on Kercheval near and Van Dyke.
Mhm.
And so they said until they get the building ready, they're going to be doing it as a pop up on, I think, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or something like that. But it's interesting, all sorts of different hot dogs. And then they have a couple that are not hot dogs, but it's chicken in a bun
Mhm.
and beef in a bun.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
all sorts of things are popping up. So it is
Mhm.
quite interesting what's happening to the housing market. And today, the Secretary of Housing, Marcia Fudge,
Marsha Fudge. Right.
is
Right.
here. And she had went to two different locations in Detroit looking at some new housing development. One of them is down, I think, somewhere around Corktown,
Okay.
where there's lots of stuff
And think
going on.
about it. They've got a lot of stuff. You got that Ford is opening
Yes.
up, the
Hmm.
train station, and then I saw one of the Fab Five. He opened up a cannabis dispensary down.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and saying he's going to employ X amount of people. So
Yes.
it's a lot of
Lots
it's a
going on.
lot
And
going on.
a new hotel is going on
Hmm.
down on the corner of Michigan and Trumbull, right across the street from the old ballpark. So a new
Hmm.
hotel is going up on that corner. So lots of
Think
stuff
about
going on.
the people that when they put forward there are like thousands of jobs in
Hmm.
that, and it's supposed to be retail in there as well. So the people who are coming to do business, they're going to need somewhere to stay that's
Yes.
close.
Yes. Yeah. And they can walk there
They can
from
walk.
that location.
That's
But
right.
they're gonna need
Or
somewhere to
Uber.
stay, somewhere
Yeah.
to eat,
Yeah.
somewhere to buy a couple of things. So it is just the
Yeah.
market.
It's
It's
good.
just incredible.
But let's can we, and I'm gonna kind of move off of this for one second,
Mhm. Yeah.
just so that the audience will know, because I see we have some people in. Um, Facebook is down. Did you hear about that?
Facebook is down, and isn't that interesting?
Facebook,
I heard it earlier.
WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. All
Really?
of them are down. They're
That
all
is
down. And you
real.
know, Facebook is a large number of our viewers. We catch them on Facebook, but
Yes.
we broadcast
Yes.
as well on YouTube. So we're catching some people coming on YouTube to view us, and we're also on Twitter. But Twitter is going crazy because Facebook and Instagram are down.
Isn't that something? I wonder what's causing Facebook to be down. I don't have a clue. What
It's
I'm
been
about to
down
say
for
has no is not
hours.
factual, but there is a whistleblower that was being interviewed today from
Yeah.
Facebook. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. And also, they were talking last week about Instagram and how it was negatively impacting
The
teenage girls
teens.
and
Yeah. And
teens.
so
And
and Instagram is down too.
and so Instagram is down also. So I
Mhm.
will be very interested to see what the
Mhm.
explanation is, if there is an explanation, if they give one for
Yeah.
them being
I don't
down.
know, because they're saying that they did not think it was a hacker because all of the platforms went down. So
Hmm.
they think it's more like a server issue as opposed to a hacker coming in. But still, I'm anxious to see what they're going to say, because I still have the broadcast up going toward that area, and it's like, no, we're not up. So
That's gonna
yeah,
be
this is
real,
going to be interesting.
real
Okay,
interesting.
but I
Okay,
digress. I just wanted the viewers to
well that's
know
okay.
if they're catching us
I'm
on our
glad you did, so they'll
website.
know that it isn't us, it's Facebook. And
Yeah,
their
yeah.
platforms are all down.
You can
They,
always come on YouTube and watch us, or you can watch us as well on our website, which is WVTCDetroit.com.
one
So,
WBTCDetroit.com, everybody.
yep,
Watch us on the website because we have about good stuff. We have about good information. I want you to know
yep.
that. You really, really do.
And we're on YouTube, so YouTube is playing loud and strong. But
Wonderful.
yeah, but the
Wonderful.
numbers aren't reflecting, but it doesn't matter. We'll do this. But
They,
I
they'll,
just wanted
they'll,
to get that in.
I'm
But
glad you did.
going back to what you were talking about, what do you think about this 6 mile corridor that they just opened up? They just blessed it
Yes,
and
just opened
dedicated
last
it.
week.
Yeah.
It's interesting when when you've been around a long time, as I have. You
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
Six
yeah.
Mile when it was
That's right.
a
That's
great
right.
place. But what was the name of the woman who had the store on 6 Mile? A woman's store. I can't remember the name of it. I
Well,
used to
I
shop there.
remember because it was Triplet Cleaners was there,
That
Hawkins Apparel,
Hawkins Apparel. That's what it
Hawkins
was.
Apparel.
Hawkins
Yep,
Apparel. Yes.
yep. You
Yes.
had Lou's Deli. That was the
Yes.
original Lou's Deli was
Yes.
there.
And there was a restaurant across
Maddie's.
the street.
Remember Maddie's?
Maddie's, yeah, but they had all, and there was a high end restaurant across the street upstairs.
It wasn't Larco's. No, no. Larco's
Also,
was down on
Larco's.
Livernois.
Larco was down on Livernois. I can't remember, but the
Yeah.
6 Mile had all sorts of great
It
things.
did. It
It had
that
all
strip. That strip was a very, very viable strip.
yes,
Very
yes.
viable. And
Immaculata High School was there,
yep,
right across from Mary Grove
right
College.
across from Marygrove.
It had all sorts of great, and the housing stock was
Oh
incredible.
my
My
God.
brother, when he first got married, lived on Santa Rosa.
My sister-in-law lived on Woodingham.
Just
And I mean,
mhm.
the houses there were fantastic.
Yes,
I
and they
mean,
lived upstairs, but it was a huge. I mean, this place was
huge. Those flats.
huge. It was a huge living room with a fireplace, huge kitchen and dining room, 3 bedrooms, a porch on the back. I mean, it was
Like your
really
flat had like 2,000 square feet.
yes, yes, and they were beautiful hardwood floors. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they were beautiful, beautiful places, and so they're bringing a lot of those back. And that
Yeah.
neighborhood, in terms of housing, is going to be uh, quite at a place that people want to go. In real estate, of course, we were looking at some homes there a couple of weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
that they had redone. Oh my gosh, They
I
were
would love to
so,
get one of those.
oh, they
They were
were
good houses.
so nice. But let me tell you, the asking price was $169,000.
Hmm.
And people were bidding for them. People were bidding
Had
ten
they
and
been
twenty thousand
rehabbed?
dollars. Yes, they had
Okay,
been.
okay.
They did a and the job they had done,
Yeah.
wonderful job. I mean, the kitchen, state of the art, wonderful back porches, the bathrooms, the basements. They were just quite incredible. But the good news is, even if you get one that has not been rehabbed yet,
Hmm.
there are such nice loans you can get
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
can buy the house and then you can get money to rehab it on the same loan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of it is like what they call a forgivable grant, which means you don't have to pay it
Wow.
back.
Wow. And
The
is that
same,
just in the city of Detroit?
yeah, for now,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So, but
Do
and
you
that's
have to
that's
live
why I
in
think
those homes, or are
you
people
have to
buying
live.
them and
You
flipping
have to
them?
wait for those with the forgivable loans. You have to live it.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah, you
Because I
do.
like to see people who invest and they actually live there. It's
Yes.
something about, now you get some good renters, you get some
Hmm.
good renters, but it's something about being a homeowner and going through that whole process of buying a home, and you don't want to see your value go down, so you cut the
Exactly.
grass, or
Yes.
you might, say, okay, I need gutters, I'm going to go ahead and put these gutters up.
Hmm.
Um,
But they had some really beautiful homes, and there was a street that I'd never heard of. We were looking at this house. The street was London Street. Now
uh-huh.
I've lived here all my life, never heard of London Street. Nicest street, beautiful home had been rehabbed on that street. But there are
Yeah.
lots of values, lots
Yeah.
and lots of values to be had. People just have to look for them, and I always have to add this: make sure your credit is right. So start early. If you
Yeah.
think you're gonna buy a house, start now making sure your credit is right because it will make a
Yeah.
difference in the interest rates you pay and whether you can get it. Because people are bidding $10,000, $20,000 over the asking price.
That's
It's
right. That's
quite
right.
incredible.
So, I mean,
Quite
and
incredible.
you're absolutely right. I was talking to someone about getting your credit straight and keeping it straight, and what you can get with just, no
Hmm.
lates,
Yes.
so it
Mhm.
is something people need to understand things more
Oh,
about their credit and how that
absolutely.
works. And I don't know if we do enough of that in the school system, because we have to cram so much into the kids all day every day, because this kind of thing, credit, they didn't teach us about credit in school,
No,
but you need to
you
you need
need
to
to
know
know
this.
about it. You need to know
So we
about
almost need to have a school after school.
it. You're right. You're right. And one of the things that they do have is called the Parent Academy for DPS,
Okay.
and which is it's so needed because parents just don't know how to help their children in some cases.
Yeah.
They just don't know. And so if they're interested in the Parent Academy, they can go to those. They have all sorts of classes on how to help your kids with computers because computers are the latest thing. Information on what's going on in the schools because kids get notes and the notes never get home because they get lost
Right.
in the book bag someplace or lost on the way to school, fly out of the book bag or something. But there's something called the Detroit Public Schools Parent Academy, and they can go on that it's on Facebook at DPSCD Face is how you can get there, and
Well,
you can
they
see
not
all
gonna get there today.
they won't get there today, but maybe later. And essentially, on Twitter and Facebook, both which happen to be down.
No, Twitter is up.
Is
Twitter is
Twitter up?
up.
Okay,
Twitter
with
is
Twitter,
up.
you can go on Twitter. It's at DPSCD Face for the Parent Academy, and it will give you all of those interesting things that you need to know about what's going on in the school system. But one thing that everybody needs to know is Count Day is Wednesday. This coming
Ooh.
Wednesday, October the 6th, is Count Day. If your kid hasn't been to school yet, Please get them there on count day on Wednesday. Please get them there. It is so important that those kids are in school on October the 6th, DPSCD count day. That's how we get the money to teach your children. That's how we get the money to pay the teachers and the custodial workers and the secretaries and the social workers and the attendance agents and principals and assistant principals and
Hmm.
counselors. That's how we get the money to pay those people, to provide lunch, to keep the schools clean, to cut the grass, to shovel the snow. Is how
Yeah.
many young people are in school on Wednesday, October the 6th.
Yeah.
Count day. Please get your kids there on count day and get them there on time. I,
But you
I
know
had
what? I heard there was a one guy that he used to work for the school system, and he told us that they would have like macaroni and cheese, these big dinners, and all of this to entice them to come to school. Isn't that something?
isn't that amazing? All
Because
I
they
needed
didn't
was
entice us. They said you would want
your
to
kids
be
go to
here.
school. You knew it was a school day. Your behind was in school on time.
That's right. They
That's
said
all
you
the
would
enticement
want
I
to be
needed
at
was to
school.
know that
Yeah.
if I wasn't there, my mother was going to have some serious information for me when I got home.
That's right. That's right.
And it was so serious for me. I think I was a freshman in college before I ever thought about not going to class one day.
Yeah. I know that's right.
I mean, and even then, I was, oh boy.
And when I
My
found
mother
out what
was,
they was doing when they was skipping, I was
yeah.
like, I don't want no parts of this. Is this what y'all doing?
Mm,
Oh, child, please.
wrong, wrong,
I'm going
wrong,
back to
wrong.
school.
Yes,
Like
wrong,
I'm going
wrong,
back to
wrong, wrong,
school.
wrong. But get them to school on October 6th and get them there on time.
Hmm.
I'm working with a group of folk now. It's a group called Helping Kids Go to School. And somewhere in the next couple of months, I'm going to have the guy who created this come on and talk about it.
Hmm.
But what we do is help, we work with the parents, not so much the kids, we work with the parents from K through 5. And we do K through 5 because the parents are the ones responsible for getting them to school at that age. By the time they get to the 6th, 7th, 8th in high school, you know, they're doing
Yeah, that's a
whatever it is
wrap.
they do.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
But the parents are the ones, kindergartens can't get to school by themselves. First, second, third, fourth graders really can't get to school. Parents have to get them there. They have to
That's
pick
right.
them up, get them some breakfast, make sure they're dressed, and all that good stuff. And so we work with the parents to find ways to help them help their children. And we did a short survey, and what the survey indicated was parents said that transportation was a major issue for them getting the kids to school.
Well, and
Transportation,
you know what? Because I don't think a lot of kids go to school in their area, do they?
mhm,
Not like they
they don't.
used to. They
They
don't
don't.
walk
What
to
we
school
used to walk
anymore.
to school. They don't walk to school anymore. So
Hmm.
transportation was a major issue. Clothing was an issue.
Wow.
Childcare was an
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mhm. And so we're working on trying to find ways to help these parents with transportation. If the car's not working, we want to try to find somebody who can get that car fixed for them so they can get the baby to school. And
Yeah, or
if
either have some kind of transportation, a lift vehicle
company
or something to
that
come
will,
around and pick the kids up or something.
mhm. And here we go. Do you know the school system can't find enough bus drivers?
Well, you know what? Now this is something, and I noticed this at your church. I
Hmm.
went to visit your church one Sunday, and they had a big thing. Pastor Johnson,
Hmm.
Wilma Johnson, may she
Hmm.
rest in peace. She was talking about how they had adopted the school down the street,
Yes, right across
and
the pastor school. That's our
yeah,
adopted school.
and
Yep.
how they got printers, and they
Hmm.
found out what it was that the school office needed, and
Yep.
they said whatever it is they need, we're going to be here to help take care of that. That's going to be our school.
That's exactly.
So why, if the kids are going there that are in that neighborhood, why can't churches partner with the school and say, well, we can give you the names and addresses of 5 kids that need a ride tomorrow, or you know what I'm saying, and maybe the church bus will come pick them up.
Well, you hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what we're talking about. We're going to be meeting with the Baptist Pastors Council and any
Hmm.
other churches in communities that are close to schools, churches that are close to them, to make that exact plea that
Yeah,
you can help.
that and after school activities.
Mhm.
They said that I was reading that pregnancy and
Oh,
truancy, and delinquency, that all takes place between 3 and 7.
yep,
3 in the
exactly.
afternoon, and
And
they said most teen pregnancies happen between 3 in the afternoon and 7.
before
So
mom and daddy get home from work.
that's right, because
Yep.
why? I don't have nothing to do.
Hmm.
So
And there's
what
nobody
if we
there
had,
to tell me
that's
anything to
right.
do. Mhm.
So we need some after school activities. We need some whys, and maybe again, I'm gonna put the onus on the churches as well.
Absolutely.
Let's open up these churches from 3 to 7 p.m. in the afternoon, and have something, some kind of, if this tutoring service or something, that or teaching them credit,
Hmm.
have little workshops or play, do something, but anything to occupy these kids between 3 p.m. and 7.
And that's what we did at New Prospect. Because we have the
Mm-hmm.
building across the street.
Mm-hmm.
We put in computers and laptops, and we have
Mm-hmm.
volunteers over there working with the kids. When
We
they leave
need
past the
more.
door, they go across the street, and we do tutoring. They help GED, all of that. And we did uniforms for all the kids. Anybody who needed a uniform, they just let us know, and somebody in the church would take that child and make sure they had whatever they needed. That's what
Now
all
I'm
the
gonna
churches
ask
need
you
to get
this, and
involved.
you might, you might not want to answer, but do you think that, I noticed again that this was at your church, and I
Hmm.
can't speak for every church because I don't know
Hmm.
every church,
Hmm.
but there was a female pastor there. So do you
I
think
know.
it
I know
had
where you're
anything
going.
to do with
I know where you're going.
that mother maybe coming out?
Yes, I think absolutely. I think it absolutely had a lot to do with it. I think it absolutely had a lot to do with it. Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, and so for those churches that don't have female pastors, they got a first lady,
yeah, they do.
and we can maybe engage the first ladies of the churches to get involved with that.
Yep,
Absolutely. But yeah,
yep.
it's critical. So I'll have more to talk about with helping kids go to school, and we are going to be looking for coaches because we've got coaches. That's how we right now we're working with one school, McKinsey, K through 8, and we got coaches that are helping, but we're going to be working with more schools. So we're going to need a whole lot more coaches, and so we're going to be going to the churches asking them to provide coaches, and we do that because pastors know their people,
Yeah.
and pastors know who would. And so we're going to ask the pastors to provide us with coaches, and we will be training them.
Right.
They'll
And
have
we
to go
need
through the process of being
vetted.
volunteers
Yeah.
for the school system. There's a form they have to fill out to be
And
accepted as a
fingerprinted.
volunteer for the school system. So they have to go through all that.
Yep. And
But
fingerprinted.
it's important.
Yeah, you
But
want to
we've
make
got to
sure
do
you
this.
fingerprint them
We got to do
and
this.
vet them.
We got to, and that's what I'm talking about. Got to
Mm-hmm.
do this for these babies. We've
Mm-hmm.
got to do it. Got to do it. So we're almost out of town. I'm so glad you talked to me today.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
This
This
has
is
been great. We'll have to
wonderful.
do this, more often.
Yeah,
But
we
a couple of
do.
things. Uh, I talked about housing, or we talked about housing.
Yeah.
Detroit has something called Renew Detroit.
Mm.
It is a two-phase home repair program they're using some of the American Recovery Act money to do it. And what's going to happen is that people can apply to get their roofs repaired. And the period of time is October the 1st through October 31st of this year is when you can apply. So people need to know that October the 1st through October the 31st, you can go on the City of Detroit website, get the application, or to your neighborhood city hall.
And it's
Um,
called Renew
it's
Detroit.
called Renew Detroit, and it's a two-phase program. The application is for phase one, October 31st through October 1st through October 31st. And to be eligible, you have to be a senior, 62 or older, or you have to be a not retired, on Social Security disability, SSI. You have to be approved through the Hope Tax Exception, which is how you go through Social Security and SSI. And you have to have not received at least $10,000 in the last 10 years from the city for repair. Uh, you have to be a homeowner.
Hmm.
They will look at the number of people in your household and whether you have gotten monies in the past to help repair. And they're
Now,
doing
what if
roofs.
I'm a landlord? Do you will
No,
no?
homeowner.
Like I have to
You got to be
be
living there.
living in that house.
You
Okay,
got to be living in it. Yep.
not income property.
Yes. No income. It has to be somebody living in the house.
Okay.
And you can apply between the 1st of October and the 31st of October. And they're doing roofs. And the reason they're doing the roofs is because if the roof is not proper, your ceiling is not going to be right. You're going to get mold. You're going to get mildew,
Leaks.
leaks. You get all sorts of leaks. And so that's why they're concentrating on doing the roofs so that you
And
can make
then we're
sure.
tired of looking at all that blue tarp too.
Yes, yes, yes. And so, if you're a senior uh, and you have not gotten $10,000 in the last 10 years, then you can apply. So, people, please apply. There are a lot of seniors I know who could use this, who need this, and who
Yeah.
just can't afford to do it themselves. And so, I want to make sure that information is out there. Now,
Yep.
there's something coming up, and it has to do with Homeland Security.
Okay.
Every 5 years, they have to redo the Homeland Security Plan for the city. It's called the Homeland Security Management Hazard Mitigation Plan. They have to do it every 5 years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so there are going to be two public hearings. One is today and one is tomorrow. The one today is on the east side. It's on Connor, 4401 Connor, from 6 until 7:30. The one tomorrow is on the west side. It's at 2301 Woodmere at the Patton Recreation Center from 6 until 7:30. And what they're doing is trying to get information and input from the public on what they think should be done if emergency or disaster happens. Um, you know, what kind of things would they want as a community, city to do if there's a disaster?
Mm-hmm.
For instance, like the people down one in Monroe recently, that was a disaster when Ford Motor Company had the
That's right.
problem down there.
That's right.
So people get a chance to tell people the city of Detroit administration what they would like to see. I think the flooding was a disaster.
Yeah.
And so people get a chance to say, okay, this is what I think should happen to save lives during that kind of emergency. I was getting my car washed and detailed the other day, and a guy was getting his done. He said, and he told me he was one of the people on 94 when it flooded, and he was in a big F-150 truck. And he said the water came so fast that as soon as the water hit his engine, everything went out. And these big
Yeah.
semis were coming by, and they were, because they're so big, they were making the water get big waves, And he said that truck was moving, those little cars were moving like nobody's business. And so disasters happen at the blink of an eye.
They
And so,
do.
and if there's a tornado or all the power outages that we have had and all those kinds of things, the city is having these public hearings so people can tell them what they think should happen so they can
Right.
update this plan that has to be updated every five
And they
years.
have to be able to get in touch with the people.
Yes,
To how do we notify our community?
exactly.
How do we make sure that we didn't miss anyone?
Yes,
So
yes.
all of that. And I think I remember this a few years back, several years back, right after 9/11. It wasn't long after that. And the churches start having these meetings
Uh-huh.
about what to do in a disaster. And I think it was a part of the Homeland Security. And they were training
Absolutely.
people. Yeah.
And the other thing is families need to put together their own hazard to plan, emergency plan. As a matter of fact, just
Because
talking to
anything
both
could
my daughters,
happen.
just had that conversation. We all need to sit down and decide, what happens. Children need to know if there's a disaster, if something
Who
happens and
who
they're
who
at
are we
school,
calling?
who do you
Who is
call?
the daisy chain?
Yeah.
Where do
Where,
we
where,
meet up at?
where do they go? Who's going to pick them up, or who do I call? Do I stay at school? Do I try to leave?
That's
What
right.
do I
That's
do? Do I
right.
wait for somebody to call? What do I do? And the other thing we talked about is that we need to join in and buy a generator and have it put it at one house, and
Yeah.
everybody knows that that's the house we go to
And
when the power is
please
out.
don't put it in the basement or put it
No,
in the
out
house.
in the backyard. Go to the back.
Hmm.
Please don't put it in the basement. But we need to have a generator. So those kinds of things are a part of the disaster mitigation. What do you do? And I bet most folks don't have one because we don't have one. As a matter of fact, my granddaughter's birthday is Saturday. We're having her party on Sunday, and that's when we're going to sit down and decide. Okay,
Yeah.
gang, what happens?
Because
We got
I went
kids.
to school with the family and they had regular fire drills where the mother would make them tie sheets together. She would,
Really?
yes, she would get them up, like let's say at 12 o'clock at night, and just like beat on some pots and say,
Mhm.
all right, let's go, and they knew how to tie the sheets together. That's before they came out with the little ladders and
Ladders.
stuff. But
Mhm.
they had to crawl out the window, and
What
she
a
did
great
this
idea.
every so often. Yeah. And
What a great
we laughed
idea.
at them at school, but after you get older, it's like, that wasn't
Mm.
so funny.
No, not at all. That's a great idea. I'm
That's a
telling you.
great idea.
Yes, that is a great idea. So
Hmm.
we all need to have, what do we do? For instance, remember when they had the blackout back in
Yeah, and thank God I was out of town. I got back home
2002
the
or
day
something?
that it was back.
Well, I was out of town,
I was out of town.
but when I called back to check on the kids, all of their powers were out, so they went to my house, and they all, because mine was bigger than theirs. They were all in apartments then. Nobody was married, so they went to them and several of their friends had a cookout in my backyard.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but they knew that was one place they could all gather. It was room enough for everybody, and they knew I
Hmm.
had all sorts of flashlights and candles and all sorts of stuff.
But that was their plan, though.
That was their
And they
plan. And
got their plan together. We're meeting.
yes.
Let's go. Everybody go to mom's house.
And the other thing is, please always have some cash money in your house.
A little cash ain't going.
I know it's hard, but emergency money is so important. Have $100 in cash because
Hmm.
the gas stations aren't going to work because everything is electronic.
And
The
quit riding
ATMs
around
aren't
on
going to work.
E.
You can't get any money out of the ATM. So have some cash money, emergency money, someplace in your house so that if there is a disaster, an emergency, that you don't have to, oh my God, the banks aren't open, the ATMs aren't working.
Yeah,
What am
and
I
in
going to do?
this season, I don't think we need to be more than a half a tank of gas either.
Yes, never less than a half a tank of gas like I was
Not in
last
this
week.
season. We're
And
not
I was
driving
there
that much,
last week, and
so.
I said, "Oh my goodness, how did you get down this low? You better get to the gas station."
Yeah.
But yeah, just think about those little things that we don't always think about. But we
No.
gotta the way things are going now. We need a disaster mitigation plan. Every family should have one. So everybody out there, get your plan together. Make sure you've got some cash money on hand because the ATMs, the banks are not going to be working.
Keep
And
some staples in your house.
some batteries
Like
for your
some.
flashlights.
Yep. Yep,
Hmm.
but keep some staples in the house, and people always give candles at Christmas time. That candle I got at Christmas time, it worked out. When my power went out for those 3 days, I was thankful I had the candle.
I
I was
know.
like, oh, okay, cool, and then it smells good too. But I was
Yes,
thankful I had the candle.
absolutely. So candles, flashlights,
And
batteries,
some kind of food,
and some kind of canned food. Not
yeah, canned
frozen food,
food,
everybody. Canned
cereal, and then
food.
if you got canned food, make sure that all of your stuff is not electric, and that
Yes.
you keep you
You
a
got a
regular little
hand can
can
opener.
opener.
Yes, the old hand can opener.
My only phone that I didn't have to worry about the house phone because it plugged directly into the wall, so the house phone stayed on the whole time.
And that's
So
the other thing.
mhm.
Make sure you got a backup phone and make sure that something is
And you got
always
some
powering.
power.
Always
Yeah.
got some power. So just those
Little
kind of
battery
things.
packs. I have several of those, that I
Hmm.
usually will take and put in my purse, and they're
Yes.
good for like 2 charges on your phone.
Yep.
But if you have them in the house and they're charged up, if something happens, because I ended up giving one to my neighbor
Hmm.
because he had nothing. And so I
Wow.
was like, well, here, take this, and at least you
Hmm.
can keep your phone charged. And when it goes down, bring it back. And I had another power source I could plug it into. And he was like,
Yes.
oh my God, I just didn't know.
So all those
Yeah,
things will continue to remind you just some stuff that to keep us all safe.
that's right.
All of us. Keep us all safe. Well, thank you so much,
And
boss
this was
lady.
a good
I love this.
chat.
This was a good chat. We're going to plan to do this. I love this. This was
That's right. That's
great.
why you're the commissioner.
Oh, my. Love this. Love this. So, thank you. I'll talk to
Thank
you
you.
next Monday, everybody, on the Community Bell Show. You'll hear us next Monday. Have a good week.
Amen.
The 6th,
Amen.
Wednesday, get those babies to school. It's count day. Get
Count
those
day.
babies to school. Reminder to school on Wednesday. Get them counted. Thank you so much for being with us. We enjoy this. We're going to
Yeah.
call it the Edna and Sandy Show from now on.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week,
And
everybody.
remember that you can watch us on more than one place. We're always here on YouTube, and we're going to start driving more of our traffic toward YouTube because we know that there are always issues with Facebook. So we
Yes.
thank you for coming over here to YouTube and also going to our website to watch the show. So thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioner Bell.
Thank you so much.
And you have a great rest of
I
the week.
will. Before we go, when are we going to start up the choir again? Choir, Madam Choir Director?
I doesn't know.
No, because whenever we go, we're going to be.
I hope it's soon. I miss
them.
them. I hope it's soon.
Sing again.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
hope it's
goodness,
soon.
I miss it. Okay, take
All
care.
right.
Love
Talk
you.
to you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.